So the movie opens when Andrea Bowen, a claustrophobic woman, phones Detective Wade Rollins, who is handling her case, in a panic because her hypnotherapist, Dr. Colin Mead, is still haunting her. Andrea then accepts a phone call from an unknown number while in an elevator. "This is how the world ends," Mead says, leading Andrea to believe the elevator walls are closing in on her. Andrea is killed by a heart attack. Jen Thompson attends a housewarming party thrown by Gina Kelman and Scott, Gina's husband. Jen is upset to learn that her ex-fiancé Brian Raleigh is also attending the celebration. Gina connects Jen to Dr. Mead and suggests that she see him for therapy to help her recover from Brian and get her life back on track. During the party, Jen and Mead build a connection. Jen tells Dr. Mead in her first appointment that her engagement to Brian was strained due to a miscarriage. Mead identifies Dr. Xavier Sullivan as a mentor and subsequently discloses he had a dead wife named Amy. Jen continues to visit Mead for several months, despite the fact that she has no recollection of her time under hypnosis. Mead suggests Jen invite Brian to her house for supper to restore their damaged relationship, which she does. Jen receives a phone call that causes her to black out while grocery shopping for dinner. Jen is at the dinner table when she recovers, while Brian is dying in the bathroom from an allergic reaction. Brian is taken to the hospital and begins his long rehabilitation. Jen pieces together details that demonstrate Mead sparked a subconscious idea that pushed her to poison Brian with sesame oil many days later. Jen discovers the criminal complaint Andrea Bowen filed against Mead prior to her death through online research. Jen takes her allegations to the detective who was investigating Andrea's case after telling Gina that Mead was deceiving and murdering patients. Wade confirms the two women's concerns by giving them CCTV footage of Andrea's delusion in the elevator. Gina is concerned because she has lately undergone hypnosis with Mead. Jen returns to Mead in order to discreetly tape a hypnosis session. Jen's audio, on the other hand, simply demonstrates that Mead was aware she was attempting to accuse him in Andrea Bowen's killing. Jen phones Gina to alert her that Mead had discovered they were onto him. Gina rejects Jen's advice to take another call while driving a car with her husband Scott as a passenger. Gina's arachnophobia is triggered over the phone by Mead. Gina had a tarantula in her lap as a hallucination. Gina kills herself and her spouse in a vehicle accident. Wade confronts Mead with documents relating to further deaths involving female patients with comparable physical traits. Wade secretly pockets a spoon that Mead touched while at the doctor's office. Wade threatens Mead before departing. Mead arrives at Jen's residence. Mead uses a verbal command to temporarily freeze Jen and then taunts her. Mead manipulates a patient named Tabby into attacking Wade at his own house. Wade winds up in the hospital with significant injuries after defending himself against Tabby's sudden assault. Jen contacts Dr. Stella Graham on Wade's recommendation because of her employment with the Portland Police Department. Dr. Graham discovers Mead planted a failsafe, rendering his subconscious impulses too powerful to remove. Graham, on the other hand, employs hypnosis to implant a counter-trigger in Jen's mind. Jen remembers the address from a structure she briefly saw while hypnotized, despite having convulsions during her session with Dr. Graham. Jen follows the address back to Dr. Xavier Sullivan, whom Mead had previously described as his mentor, and learns that Sullivan was involved in the culture mind control operations. Jen phones Wade to inform him that she will be seeing Dr. Sullivan. When fingerprints from the spoon he previously took prove Mead is actually Sullivan's son Julian, Wade fears Jen is in danger. Wade drags himself out of his hospital bed, despite the discomfort, to pursue Jen. Jen gets apprehended by Mead after showing up at his house. Jen realizes Mead was planting memories in her mind in order to mold Jen as Mead's deceased wife Amy, as Mead had done with prior patients. Wade arrives at Mead's residence after a botched raid on his office. Wade and Mead are at odds. Jen fires a rifle at the two men while rejecting Mead's sleep demand. Jen seemed to be recovering in Wade's arms. The vision, however, turns out to be Mead's subconscious suggestion. Jen snaps out of her stupor when Mead addresses her as "my love," triggering Dr. Graham's countermeasure. Jen, now free of Mead's influence, retrieves a revolver from Wade's ankle holster and murders Mead. Despite being shot by Jen, both Wade and Jen recover 1 month later. With gratitude to Culture Crypt.